Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Kevin and George both sent me a story. So Steve, check this one out. You'll be interested because you've done some running, and I have. Running shoe company On is sued over footwear's allegedly loud and embarrassing squeak. Squeak. Now, I've never heard of the running shoe company On, but shoes squeaking apparently is the basis of a class action lawsuit. Amy Peachy wrote this for CBS News, Money Watch. Trendy running shoe company On is being sued by some customers over what they claim is a defect in the shoes, which they allege emit a loud, embarrassing, and difficult to stop squeaking sound with each step. Class action lawsuit was filed recently in the U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon. Claims the customers wouldn't have bought the shoes if they had known about the noise. Now the question is, are all these shoes being bought online? Does no one try shoes on anymore and walk around in them? The complaint alleges that the squeak is caused by the company's Cloud Tech shoe design, which relies on hexagonal, octangular, and ovular shapes that form the external landing surface of the shoes. So there's holes in the bottoms of the shoes that are shaped like these geometric shapes, and apparently they say that causes a squeaking noise, therefore it cannot be fixed. They're saying it's a design flaw. The plaintiffs are. When wearers take a step, the rubber within the Cloud Tech design rubs together, resulting in a noisy and embarrassing squeak, the lawsuit claims. Now, the company is Swiss. They've got offices in Portland. They say they don't comment on ongoing legal matters. Other customers have complained about the noise in online forums, such as Reddit, with some posting hacks for trying to stop the shoes from squeaking. It's a shoe hack. Two consumers filed the lawsuit, claim they stopped wearing the shoes shortly after purchasing them due to the noise, which they both described as embarrassing. Now, the question again is, did they buy these things online? Or how is it they didn't know these things made this noise? The lawsuit also points out that the On running shoes cost a premium, retailing between $140 and $180 a pair, which is that's a bit pricey for running shoes. And running shoes can get expensive, and I've burned through lots of pairs of running shoes. But the average price of these shoes is $132. So the complaint names 11 different styles of shoes made by this company, with all the exciting names such as Cloud 5, Cloud 6, Cloud Monsters, Cloud Tilts, Cloud Surfers, Cloud Eclipse, Cloud Leap, Cloud Sky, Cloud Swift, Cloud Zone, and Cloud Runner. Cloud Runner. The lawsuit claims that consumers haven't been able to successfully return the shoes based on the squeak because the company's warranty does not extend to defects due to the wrong fit, normal wear and tear, and the company allegedly describes the squeaking as normal wear and tear. But see, if they squeak while you use them, that's not wear and tear. That would be a feature or a characteristic of the shoe, unless they start squeaking only after a little while of you wearing them. So the complaint is seeking compensatory, statutory, and punitive damages for what it believes are likely thousands of people who purchased On shoes with the Cloud Tech design, including all of those various shoes that were just mentioned there that all begin with the word cloud. Again, I've bought shoes online. I will admit this. But I bought shoes online only after I found shoes I liked and had worn them and said, okay, these shoes work. And I can tell you that many runners are like me, who you find a brand of shoe you like and a size you like, and then you just stick with them. Because changing shoes can cause trouble. Where you had a pair of shoes that you were fine with, they wore out, you bought a new pair that were different. And there might be something about them, and it doesn't take much if you run half marathons or full marathons. And I've run quite a few full marathons and half marathons, and back in the old days, 10Ks. Stopped running those a while back. And in fact, I was just poking around and I saw that I had this, one of my running bibs from a half marathon I ran in 2021. Just happened to see it was right there, and I thought I'd pull that on the camera. But if you are used to a pair of shoes, you can then buy them mail order, and it's easier than going to a store to buy them and all that, and it's usually cheaper. And but I've never bought a pair of shoes. I don't think I've ever bought a pair of shoes the first time online for fear that something might be wrong with them. And how I don't feel like ordering the shoes, trying them on and going, oh, these don't fit, and sending them back. It's just a big pain. It's a big pain. And so there are certain shoes that I've got that I like, and some of them I bought online. But I've never bought the first pair online. I don't think I ever have. So I take that back. I did ads a while back for a shoe company called Rock Rooster. And they contacted me and said, would you be interested in talking about our product on air? And I said, only if I like the shoes. And they sent me a pair. And they said, what size are you? And they sent me a pair. And I tried them on, and they fit. And they were nice shoes. And I wound up working with them for a while. And so I will admit that I got those without having tried them on first. But of course, I didn't bear any risk there. If they'd sent them to me and I didn't like them, I was going to say, I don't like these. Sorry, goodbye. But when it comes to buying shoes, so if you see something on the internet, social media, some influencers talking about shoes, and you go, I'm going to try those shoes, and you buy them mail order, and they squeak when you walk in them, I'm a little surprised they won't take them back if you simply put them on and walked like around your living room in them. But then again, there is an implication here, and it does not say this in the story, but the implication is that maybe the squeak arises after you've worn them a while. And so obviously, if they were great shoes and quiet and everything, and then somewhere down the road they started squeaking, I can see that as a complaint. But then the question is, do you really need to get punitive damages from the company because your shoes squeak? And I actually saw more than one article about this. And another article I saw said that there are people who are complaining, saying that the squeaking interferes with their job. And my first thought was, what's your job? But somebody said, hey, a nurse. So a nurse might be wearing running or walking shoes and running or walking around a hospital doing their job, and they can't have these shoes making this obnoxious, loud, embarrassing squeaking sound with each step. I suppose, but my bigger question is, who buys shoes these days without trying them on, unless these things are solely sold via mail order, and in which case, I'm surprised there's no provision to return them, because the sound wouldn't be wear and tear. It would have to be that you did something to them to cause them to make the sound, and that what you did was wear and tear, in which case they should be able to point at it and say, you did this or you did that, not just, oh, they're making noise. Because if they all make noise, then it's obviously not wear and tear. I mean, but we've all been there before, where you buy something and you find out that the policy is, I'm sorry, but there are no returns on this. There are no returns on this. And the question then becomes, what happens if you're forced to go past push and go to shove? Is shove a lawsuit? Maybe. Is it a class action lawsuit? Could be. Filed in federal court? There you go. So we'll see what happens. But if I had to guess, attorneys make money. People all get coupons for a free pair of shoelaces or equivalent. So there you go. Running shoe company On is sued over footwear's allegedly loud and embarrassing squeak. And all of the shoes, you'd recognize them because they start with the word cloud. And Kevin and George sent that from CBS News and Money Watch. Amy Peachy wrote it. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Be happy. It drives people crazy.